Now we're going to move on to the last muscle in the superficial front line. This is called the Sternocleidomastoid muscle. So if you're looking for a good Scrabble word, this is your word here. Or you can call it SCM for short. So the best way to get into this muscle is again going to be to start with your hands. These muscles can be very sensitive. A lot of trigger points at the base of this muscle or even into the mid-belly can refer up into the forehead or top of the head, and they're actually a cause for a lot of headaches in people. So working on these, you might actually trigger a headache the first couple times you do this. If that does happen, it gets sore, headache comes on, just throw some ice on the area. It's totally normal. If it's super sore for more than a day or two afterwards, you probably went a little too hard, so back off the pressure next time. But I'm going to teach you how to get into this muscle. This is primarily shortened and stuck in individuals where their head is out in front of their body. So most individuals, about 80% of the population, we see coming in with that forward head carriage. So this is going to be a great one for you guys to focus on. So what you want to do is take your hand, kind of doing like a pinch or grasp like this, and you're going to take your thumb and place it right next to your trachea, right here. So that movable cartilage piece here. And as you place your thumb in, you're gently going to sink inward, and we're going to rotate the head back and forth, and you'll feel that muscle start to pop up into your thumb a little bit. So usually as you look away, it'll create a little bit of a pocket for me to sneak my thumb up and in here. And then I'm going to grab back behind that muscle, and it's about from my ear, if I draw a line straight down this way, that's going to be the back end of that muscle. So I could actually get a pinch or grasp if I rotate away and grab onto that muscle. Now as I'm here, I'm now going to start to create my tension. So I want to find my point first so I can just basically do a pinch up and down, and I'm looking for any type of that intense sensation, that dull, achy spreading. And again, you might start to feel something into the jaw, into the forehead, into the face. Those are normal trigger point referral patterns. Now, if you're feeling anything pulsing under your thumb, I want you to slide your finger just maybe a centimeter or so in either direction, just to get off that pulse, because you do have an artery through here that you don't want to be putting direct pressure into. So just be careful with how deep you're going. It's a pretty superficial muscle, so you don't have to be digging all the way in. So once you get that muscle to pop out, sneak your thumb behind. I found my point. I can feel that radiating up into my forehead, up to the top of the head, a little bit in my soul. Good Lord. All right, so I got to back off a little bit. I'm going to sink into that. I'm going to rotate, and then I'm creating my tension by pulling my hand straight down towards my shoulder as I rotate. And now I'm going to breathe. In and out. Perfect. Again, sink in, traction down, turn the head away, and breathe. Usually 2 or 3 breaths, and you'll notice as you breathe, that intensity will start to drop, and that referral pain will start to ease up. Once you've got about a 50% reduction in that intensity, that's where we got our therapeutic result. Let's go to the other side. So again, pinch or grasp. I'm going to go right next to my trachea here, and you could come pretty much all the way up behind the ear. You can come a little higher on this one. And again, I'm going to pinch until I get that little bit of a referral pattern, that dull, aching, spreading sensation. So right about there. And again, if you're feeling any pulsing, don't keep your thumb on the pulse. Slide your thumb gently off of it. We're going to rotate towards, create that pressure. And again, my pressure is going to be straight back and down. So as I grab the tissue, I'm adding that tension straight back, down, and then I'm rotating away. We'll breathe. This one can be pretty intense, so just be patient, be gentle with yourself on this one. It could take a week or so for this tissue to start to open up and not be so sensitive. All right, when we're done treating these areas, It's good to do our gentle neck stretches. You could watch the advanced neck stretches on our webpage. But just get some mobility going into that tissue. If you want to advance away from the hand, you could always use a lacrosse ball up in that area. Once you have the ball, you can do our circular motions, forward, back, side, up, down, twist, and just kind of work your way through that tissue. Now you can keep your head neutral, you can rotate away. That's always going to change the different directional fibers of that muscle. So whatever direction you feel like you get the most shearing force in is going to be the one you stick with. But it could be rotating this way, could be rotating this way, it could be looking up or down. Either one of those or a combination of those movements could be appropriate for your case. If you get really advanced with this one, you can invest in one of these neck trigger point tools. This allows you to basically work the attachment points up at the base of the skull here, where basically you can control tension by sinking in, pulling down, and then rotating through. So I'm basically working both sides at the same time. And so it's a little more efficient to get into that tissue. This can be a little more intense, so this is a little more of an advanced tool. There's different things you can do with the knobs where you can rotate. There's other ones like this where there's just single balls on them. Either one would be totally fine, but these are pretty specific just for like up in the neck region. So whatever direction, I would recommend definitely just starting with the hands, the fingers, getting into that tissue, just gently starting to open these things up. Again, it can be very sensitive, it can create some headaches. Don't be discouraged. If there is pain for more than 2 or 3 days after treatment, like soreness or any type of headache referral, either back off the pressure or get an evaluation to make sure you're on the right area. So be careful with this one. We'll see you on the other side when things are opened up.